count on me. You can count on me. You can count on me. You can count on me. With all of my heart, all of my soul, I'm living for the cause of Jesus. Count on me. You can count on me. The time is now, I'm all in. To show the world where love begins. Where you send me, I will go. To tell the world for all to know. You can count on me. 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 With all of my heart, all of my soul, I'm living for the cause of Jesus. Count on me. You can count on me. You can count on me. For every nation, there's a hope, and there's a seed that we can sow. I will give my life away to show that Jesus is the way. You can count on me. 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 With all of my heart, all of my soul, I'm living for the cause of Jesus. Count on me. You can count on me. You can count on me. You can count on no matter what comes, no matter the cost, I'm living for you. I give you my trust, all of me to the one who light my way. You can count on me. No matter what comes, no matter the cost, I'm living for you. I give you my trust, all of me to the one who light my way.
Hey, it's Tuesday, which means it is another great day to take some time out to talk about BGMC and to learn about missions and what's going on around the world. But before we do that, I want to take a second. I want to tell you this verse. It's found in Proverbs chapter 4, verse 23, which states, above all else, guard your heart. Meaning we make sure that we are guarding our heart. And a lot of times when I think about that, I think about just what I'm watching on TV or listening to on the radio, but it's a little bit more than just that. It's about what we allow our heart to take in. So sometimes we might allow our heart to cling to pity. We might feel sorry for ourselves, or anger. Sometimes we get angry and we just hold on to that anger and we don't ever forgive or worry. So before we go any farther, I want you to take a look at this true missionary story.
This next true mission story comes from the country of Cambodia. Soti and his sister had nothing to eat. There was no food left in the house. At one time, they were so hungry that they took their kramas, which is their red checkered Cambodian scarves, and they tied those kramas around their stomach so they would not hurt so bad from the hunger. Even though Soti and his sister had nothing to eat, they did have hope. Both of them were new Christians, and they were learning to trust God for everything in their lives. They wanted to serve God with all their hearts. But what could they do if they did not even have food in their house? So they decided to pray, and they asked God to give them food. Sometime later, their cat came home carrying a fish in its mouth. Could this be God's way of providing them with food? But Soti and his sister were not so sure. Where did the cat get the fish? You see, Cambodians take fish and they cover them with spices and then lay them in the sun to dry. This way, the fish will last a long time. Well, this was the kind of fish that the cat had in its mouth. The fish had already been coated with spices and dried in the sun. Soti and his sister were afraid that their cat had stolen the fish from one of the neighbors. Even though Soti and his sister were so very hungry and they wanted to eat the fish, but they would not take it if the fish was stolen. So they went from house to house asking the neighbors if the fish belonged to them. After checking with all their neighbors, Soti found that no one was missing a fish. Soti and his sister then gave thanks to God before eating their dinner of fish that day. God had provided them with food. Well, today, Soti is a leader in the church. He also helps teach at the Bible school in Cambodia. When he teaches the students about God's faithfulness, he tells them how God was faithful to him when he was a young boy. He tells them how God used a cat to bring him food when he prayed. Because you see, God is always faithful to those who trust him. So kids, always trust God. No matter what you need, no matter how bad things look, remember, God is always there, and God hears you when you pray. So trust Jesus, and don't forget to ask him for your needs.
All right, wasn't that pretty awesome? Those kids had every opportunity to be angry, to be upset because of their situation, not having food. Could you imagine being so hungry that you would take a scarf and tie it around yourself so tight so it would help with the pain? But they didn't stress about that. They didn't feel sorry for themselves. They weren't angry. They just continued to trust in God. And that's what we need to do. Trust in God, but we also need to make sure what we're putting into our heart, what kind of emotions we're allowing ourselves to hold on to. And then to top it all off, when they got food from that cat, which is a miracle, right? Look at your mom and say, that was a miracle, because it was a miracle. And when they got that food, they didn't think, it's mine, finders, keepers, losers, weepers. They thought, what's the right thing to do? In their heart, they were good. So they went to their neighbors and they said, hey, is this your fish? And guess what? We know the story. God provided for them. And God provided for them in such a way, and they kept their hearts pure. They were careful about what they put in their hearts. And then that little boy grew up to be a pastor. God is amazing. God is doing awesome things around this world. So be sure to keep praying for missionaries, even if you don't know their name. Just say, God bless the missionaries around the world. Maybe you have a country in your mind today. Pray for them. And also keep giving. So keep saving up your money. Find creative ways to make a difference, okay? It was great seeing you. Have a good day.